Hello everyone and welcome to Lowrentrick scale modelling, and this is my build of the Tamiya 135 scale Marder 3M, the Normandy front. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing. It's completely free and really helps out small channels. So this is a really cracking little kit. It comes even with a little photo etch part. This is only the second part that I've had in one of these kits that's photo etch. Still need a lot of practice using photo etch parts. So I'm looking forward to trying to get that bit to bend around the exhaust. So straight in with the build. As you can see from the thumbnail, this is a very heavily rusted model. I'm practicing my weathering. I'm learning from every technique that I do. So I'm just going to build up the hull first and then go into the technique that I'm going to use for applying the rust. So I decided before I started I was going to really heavily rust this one up and use a few techniques. So what I'm doing here first is I'm putting a base coat down of a dark rust colour under anywhere where I think I might want some rust, and then I'm going to varnish over the top with some Vallejo satin varnish, and then over the top of the satin varnish I'm going to apply some ammo MIG liquid mask in dots where I want the mask to come off and reveal the rust underneath. So using the end of a very stiff brush, I'm going to dot around all the edges and really get into making this pretty much as rusty as possible. So it's a long drawn out process. This build would usually take me from 6 to 8 hours. Just doing the rust itself added maybe another 4 hours to this. But I really wanted to get as many techniques down as possible and just really work on it. My idea has always been that rust should be subtle. And I'm sure many of you agree that I've gone a bit overboard here, but that's the entire reason that I've done it this way. I wanted it to be a rusty old dog and get as much practice as I could while still trying to make it look okay. So once I've got the main hull and the wheels marked up with where I want the rust, I'm going to let this liquid mask dry off until it's completely set and then go over with the base colour. Now I chose to do just a one colour on this because there will be so much going on that I just wanted a base background colour, and this is sort of half yellow ochre and half medium stone, which I've mixed up myself. I'll stick a link in the comments to the paint mixing kits that I've made up. So I've made up these kits that contain syringes, pallets, bottles with ball bearings and such, and some funnels and other bits and bobs, just so you know it makes it much easier to mix your own custom paint. So please do check them out to support the channel. Fully aware that while I'm doing this also that I'm going to miss quite a lot out. Having not built the model before, I don't know what's included and what's not, and which way round even some of the pieces go. That can be quite hard to tell if you can see some of the parts or you can see the inside or the outside. So I'm just doing the main body, the fairings and the wheels, so the upper and lower hull, and the main gun turret as well. And anything else that I miss out, I'll just add some rust effects over the top later on. So once the top coats are dry, I'm going to go at it with my sharpest pair of tweezers and just pull out the latex in all different directions to give a really flaked look to the paint, and then finish it with a small stiff wire brush. I'm going to go in all directions all over the paint. I want scratches, I want chips, and I'm going to intermediately wash over with some Tamiya panel line accent colour as well to really oil that surface down and make it look dark and really old. As you can see here, once I got the final coats on, while the wash was still wet, it kind of made a really good little effect. Painting the rubber on the wheels, I'm using some Tamiya, some rubber Tamiya actually, some XF85. It's not something I use a lot of. it's been sat in my stash for a long time. I thought I may as well get it done. So to finish the wheels, I'm going to mount the leaf springs and the suspension bars. But the leaf springs are going to be painted in gunmetal, and they're going to be weathered separately because they are exposed sort of metal kind of look. They'll weather quite differently in my mind to the painted surface. So they'll be weathered independently to give them a bit of contrast. Once they're weathered up, I'll do a little bit more on the hull underneath because it's not seen, but I know it's there and it's more practice. Once they're weathered and I'm happy with the look of them, then I'll apply the wheels. Now the wheels are fixed on this model, as is the track, which makes things a bit easier, but I'm not going to fix them in straight away. I'm going to mount them, and then because I've done the one side and then the inside of the tyres, I'll mount them on the suspension arms and then spin them as I paint the centre of the tyres, using the model to actually hold them steady and finish it off. It's quite a messy way to do the wheels for your fingers, but it actually works really well, and it makes sure you get them nice and neat. And it's a good way of holding them steady and getting that paint really really neat in the centre to match the rims. Now the tracks quite complex, not individual pieces, but many different size pieces, which I think actually makes it a little bit more difficult to make sure they fit. So they're all going to get a coating of Vallejo Model Air Metallic in gunmetal, and then they're going to be quite lightly weathered over the top. The contrast being that the body of the tank is going to be extremely well weathered, and the tracks won't be quite so well weathered. I want a little bit of that metal to shine through. Now, you all know I'm a massive fan of Tamiya kits, but the way that they ask you to do these tracks is a bit cockeyed for me. So I'm putting the largest piece on first because it has an indent where the one of the suspension road wheels goes, and that fits perfectly in the indent of the large piece of track. And then you've got the individual pieces around the side of both the idler wheel and the powered road wheel. So I've started backwards basically, and I've found that I've never had a problem doing it this way. I'm starting with that known point, other than starting with one of the singles and having to guess whereabouts it goes, and then not having it line up at the end. It's a real nightmare. But it's sort of done in sections, so although you can't see it on the time lapse, as I say, this is probably a 14-hour build. So I'm doing a few of the when I've done the individuals, I do set it down and just let it dry off for a little while and then go on with the rest, rather than trying to manipulate the tracks when the glue hasn't tightened down. And there you can see the fit once it's dried. It's fitted in really quite nicely. Now the tracks are on, the fairings and the upper hull can go on. One thing I have learnt from doing this method is it's extremely messy, and there's bits of paint and latex all over the place. So what I might do next time is I might separate out all the bits that I'm going to do and do it all at once, to get them all rubbed down and ready for assembly all together, rather than keep messing up and flicking paint and bits of latex all over the workbench. The main gun and machinery of the breech and upper turret is extremely detailed on this model, so there's lots of opportunity to throw in some extra detail. So the main assembly was fine. There's quite a lot of fiddly bits and a lot of stuff going on, but there was a lot of, as I say, a lot of opportunity for lots of layered colours, and sort of I washed over the whole thing with metallic wash which is basically gunmetal and water with about 30% paint to water. And then started to detail in all the little bits and all the bits of machinery and mechanisms and wheels and ratchets that are involved. And I'm really pleased with the way that it turned out. I was extremely surprised about the level of detail on this kit. It's quite small, but there are so many little accessories and bits and bobs and racking and bits of stowage to be fitted, and some of which I haven't even used because they're going towards another project. But that it really does increase that build time. There was a lot to do for just the internals and the externals. I suppose with being able to see inside the crew cab as well, there's a lot of little things to go in there. There's a radio and lots of racks and things like that. I've also got to bear in mind there's got to be space for 4 or 5 crew in here too, and also that the gun turret as actually articulates. As you can see, I had quite a bit of an issue trying to get it to fit. It's only because there is a ratchet underneath, and also a poly cap for the gun mount to sit in. So it's a little bit of a struggle, but I got it in there eventually. Given that there was so much to do and to get this done within the weekend, I didn't record painting the figures. It's something that I really need practice with because I'm not very good with the figures at all. So I'm looking for some suggestions. Anybody out there of some good 135 scale ish sort of figures to buy independently that I can just get a handful of figures and spend some time painting them and learning some techniques. So if you've got any comments, any suggestions for kits, please do drop them in the comments and I'll check them out and get myself some ordered and get those skills built up. Lots of the accessories and add-ons are not they're just base coated. They'll be weathered in afterwards. It was too much to try and weather it all separately, and this way I can get them all built and attached and try to match them in to the effect that I've ended up with on the hull. Now the dreaded photo etch part around the exhaust. The instructions tell me to tie it on with some wire, which was provided, but I do think the wire was tied by a machine because it took me a long time to untie it. I used the gift of some super glue to hold it in place also, and then when I'd got it attached and tightened up the wire, I then wrapped some grease-proof paper around it and clamped it to let it set properly. I didn't want it just to be pinging off because, as you know, they're quite springy, and it really needed some help and some time to set. The effect is wonderful. The inclusion of photo etch parts, I think, is a real test, and it's something that I think that if I did one of the kits with lots of photo etch in, I'd have to spend some real time on it to learn some more techniques. I found this really fiddly and really difficult to deal with. I suppose I'm used to plastic. Now I'm weathering in and darkening down all of the accessories as I go, just to tie them into the main colour of the hull. Also with the front hatch there, the driver's hatch. I spent a long time cutting that in half and getting it just right, and then realised there was another piece to go underneath it, the barrel brace. So I had to rip that off and put it back on again. Just another lesson learned. Look forward to the whole build before you go and glue things up. Although I do find that if these are optional to be in two halves, then make them in two halves and then we can close them afterwards. Just one of those things, I suppose. As you would expect, the decals were absolutely no problem because there was only 5 of them. But I did make sure to once they're on and once they're set, they do get a coat of varnish and they do get some weathering too. The tank is looking very old and very battered and very rusty, and then what I don't want is some brand new shiny decals poking out of the side. Getting close to the end now, sticking all the tools, the hooks, all the jack and all the ancillaries to the hull, and sort of then I'm going to weather and darken them down as I go. They've had a basic coat, but they do need tying in because they just look out of place at the moment. So as I go, I'll be darkening them and adding some rust here and there. But I like the contrast of them looking not quite as rusty as the tank itself, as the tank's seen a lot of wear. But some of the accessories and the tools might not be as worn. And there we go, trying to fit that barrel mount underneath the door. Trying my best, but I just ended up ripping it off and then gluing it back in place. Once all the tools are in place and before the crew get installed, I'm going to go around it once more time and look for any bits that I've missed, any bits that look too new, and then it's all going to get a good coating over with Vallejo matte varnish. So before the weathering, I use the satin polyurethane varnish, and afterwards I'm going to use the matte varnish. And what the matte varnish will do is it will take the very severe effect just down just a little bit, not by much, granted, although it still does look extremely well weathered. The matte varnish will just lower all the intensity of the colours down a little bit and bring it all into some sort of balance. It takes a lot of the red out of the rust and takes a lot of the shine off the black and some of the rust wash. Now to install the crew and then have a look at the finished article. Now there she is, an absolutely rusty, battered old piece of kit. I know I'll get some criticism for it because I do get a lot of criticism, but this is me learning the techniques, and I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. It was always destined to be extremely rusty and over-weathered, and it's come out just as I wanted it to, really. And now I can take the techniques that I've learned on this model and apply them a little more subtly when I decide to do a weathered or rusty model again. Please let me know what you think in the comments, even though I will get quite a bit of criticism. Thank you so much for joining me for another video. Please consider subscribing, and please do check out our Facebook group, Scale Modelling for Everyone. We're at nearly 4,000 members now, and we'd love to see you there and love to see you share your work. Come and join us. You might be number 4,000. Thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next video.